$50 bills you should never spend. In this video, we're going to be going over some $50 bills that are actually worth a lot more money than $50. Now, don't get me wrong, 50 bucks is a decent amount of money. However, the banknotes that we go over in this video sold for a whole lot more money. Let's take this first example. This one is from 1934. Now, the first year the US started producing small size paper money like we have today was for the series of 1928. This specific bill was graded by PMG at a 66. Now listen, even if you find a bill like this in worse condition, it's going to be worth more than just 50 bucks. The reality is, collectors want banknotes that are in better condition, so if you find one, keep it very flat and safe, because the better the condition, the more money it's going to be worth, just like this one that's over $312. Here's a bill that is at an extremely fine 45, so this one has multiple folds on it. This is the type of bill that you can actually find out in pocket change, or if you got it from a bank teller, this is the type of bill you want to be looking for. So a few things on this. The first thing is that this is a mule note. So not a lot of people know what a mule note actually is. So if you're looking at the back bottom right corner of this bill, you will see what's called a back plate number. Now the back plate number is important for internal purposes to see where this specific bill was located on a printing plate. Now on the front of the bill, you also have a front plate number. That front plate number will have a letter plus a number afterwards. Now the big thing to look at here on these specific bills is the size of the front plate number versus the back plate number. So if you look closely, the front plate number is a larger size than the back plate number. Now the actual number on the front plate or back plate don't really matter at all for us. What does matter is that size. Now there are certain times where the number range does matter, but not on this note. Don't worry about that. All you got to know here is that the size is bigger on the front than the back. That means this is a mule note. Long story short, a mule note means that the front of the bill should not have gone with the back of this bill. Front plate numbers and back plate numbers should be the same size. If they're not, there's a very good chance that you have a mule note worth a lot more money than its face value. On top of that, this is a star note. If you don't know what a star note is, just very quickly, when they're producing paper money, if there's ever an error on a sheet of bills, a quality control manager will notice that, typically marking it with a red Sharpie or some sort of marker to say, hey, we need to destroy the sheet. Once they destroy the sheet, they'll produce a new sheet of bills with a star at the end of the serial number, signifying that this is a replacement sheet. Now the reason they put a star is to make sure that they are properly tracking the serial number ranges and that there is no criminal activity happening within the BEP where they produce these bills. Because what they don't want is people pretending to destroy sheets and instead stealing money from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. So again, what you need to know here is that this is a mule note and it's a star note, and that is why it sold for $432. Now if it was in better condition, it would have brought a lot more money, and if it was in worse condition, it probably would have sold for anywhere from 70 to 150 bucks. I know a few of you were asking questions if the grade is lower or higher, so hopefully that helps, but let's go to the next bill. We'll be pretty quick on this, but this is what you call an uncut sheet. So a sheet like this was very likely sold by the US Mint website to collectors because a normal sheet size typically come in much larger sizes than this. If you think about it, it doesn't make sense for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to produce small banknote sheets like this. All you got to know here is that this sheet has a face value of $400 and it sold for $660. Now this is a real, genuine United States $50 gold certificate bill. You can see this one is from 1928. We love gold certificate bills like this. You can see on the left-hand side it says that you can redeem this in its face value of gold. So back in the day, you could take this bill to a bank. You can see it more than likely actually happened due to its circulated condition. But you could take it to a bank and get equivalent value of gold. So you give them 50 bucks and they give you $50 of gold back. Such a cool concept. I wish they still did it. But if you have a gold certificate bill like this, or any sort of bill that you want to get the opinion on, you must find someone that's going to help you maximize the value of the sale. The last thing you want to do is bring it to a pawn shop or someone who doesn't know the true value or is looking to rip you off and scam you. So in our opinion, you've got a few options here. One, you can go on eBay and try to sell it yourself. Two, you could send us a picture. There's a link down below to the Coin Value Club. It's an exclusive membership, but you don't have to do that. There's also going to be a link on the screen right now. You can click on that. Or we recommend going to 3 local coin shops and getting their opinion on how much it's going to be worth. Honestly, the best way to maximize the value if you want to get every single last dollar out of it is selling it yourself full retail, because if you sell it to a coin shop, remember, they're also a business. They have overhead expenses like employees to pay, rent to pay, and families to feed, right? So they have to take a certain percentage, anywhere from 10 to 30% of that profit. But if you sell it yourself, you're going to get that full value, less eBay fees or any sort of platform that you sell on. This $50 bill sold for $9 $900. $1,560 for this 1981 $50 bill. Now, when you're looking at the front of the bill, you'll notice that the overprint is missing. That is that last print on the bill where you have the district seal on the left, which is the black seal, the treasury seal on the right, which is the green seal, and the serial numbers that you are completely missing on this bill. But when you flip it over, you actually notice that it's not missing. It was just printed on the wrong side. If you have anything like this, then it's going to be worth good money because this one sold for $1,560. Another $50 bill that sold for $1,560. This is a 1996 $50 bill. Now, when you're looking at the back of this bill, nothing looks out of the ordinary. Everything looks fine and normal. It's only when you flip it over that you notice the overprint, once again, is completely missing. Now, keep this in mind. The back of the bill is the first print. The front of the bill, which you see here, is the second print. And the third and final print run is going to be that overprint, which is missing right now. If you have a bill like this, keep it safe. Do not fold it because $1,560 for that one. $1,800 for this 1928 $50 bill. So this is very important, so pay close attention. So 1928 was the first year they started producing small size paper money. Before that, we had large size bills. Now, if you're looking at this specific bill on the left-hand side, you'll notice a number 3, which is large. These are called numeral type bills. Now, numeral type bills are more expensive and valuable in general. Now, you'll also notice there are 4 number 3s around the bill that are a bit larger. Those are called the district numbers. Now, the large number 3 on the left and those 4 number 3s around the bill should always match. Also, the start of the serial number should always correlate with the location in the alphabet with that number. So, for example, the start of the serial number starts with a C, and C is the third letter in the alphabet, which you see the large number 3. So let's say instead of that being a large number 3 on the left, it was a large number 1. Then the serial number would start with an A. If it was a 2, it would be a B, 3, C, 4, D, etc. All the way to number 12, which would be an L. So if that number 3 was a 12, the start of the serial number would be a what? It would be an L. If those don't correlate, like if it's a large number 1 and the start of the serial number is a C, that could mean something incredibly rare. Keep your eyes peeled for a numeral type $50 bill because it's going to be rare and valuable, just like this one that sold for $1,800. $2,280 for this printed fold error. This is pretty obscure. So the back of the bill got printed like normal, but when the sheet got fed through to the front, the sheet got folded over, printed on top, and ran through the rest of the printing process and cutting process until someone noticed it at a bank or wherever, unfolded it, and said, wow, this is actually a really cool error note. They kept it and they got it graded and they sold it for $2,280. $10,200 for this $50 bill from 1928. And I laugh a little bit because the condition is so beat up. So remember before I was saying that this is a numeral type bill? You can see that by the number 11 on the left hand side. That also correlates with the letter K at the start of the serial number, which is the 11th letter in the alphabet. Everything looks good here with that. This is also a star note. We do know what star notes are. It's just a replacement for an error note. So that makes this bill more rare. But the biggest thing I would say on this specific bill is that each district, like this one is from the Dallas, Texas district. You can tell by it being a number 11 on the left-hand side. Certain districts were printed in less quantity than others. Dallas, Texas typically is going to be a more sought-after district for the numeral type bills. If you have a 1928 $50 bill star note from the Dallas, Texas district, then you're in for a treat because this very fine $50 bill sold for $10,200. $20,400 for these 12 $50 bills. Now, if you stayed this far in the video, you're going to get a little bit of a bonus here because not many people know about these specific bills. These are what we call specimen notes. Now, specimen notes were never really meant to get out into public hands at all. What they were meant to do is to go to different banks around the world. This would pretty much give a bank teller something to compare a counterfeit bill to. So for example, if a bad person brought in a counterfeit $50 bill, they would be able to say, hey, this is actually a fake $50 bill because I have a specimen note from the United States. Now, what makes this lot so cool is that if you haven't noticed already, the district letter on the left-hand side, we have all 12 of them. You can see it goes A, B, C, D, all the way to L. Super, super cool. You've got a full print run of these notes here. This is a huge collection piece for anyone that's really into collecting banknotes. If you somehow inherit these notes, you have to contact a rare currency expert. We would be more than happy to help. All you got to do is click on that link down below in the comment section, but you don't have to do that. We're glad that you enjoyed this video. We will see you in the next one.